of all the work that I've done, it always seems to come back to the inner child. That sort of those parts of us that maybe are holding on to our childhood wounds. I mean, the inner child really has two sides. And one of them carries the unprocessed wounds of our childhood. But the other part of it, it carries like our true divine nature. It's like the divine child that carries the spark of our pure essence, our most essential self. I always say, if you ever want to have any fun, you got to do some inner child work, because it's the part of us that knows how to play. That play, creativity, intuition. If you look at any child, you see that sort of radiating joy that comes out of them. We have that too inside of us. And so doing inner child work helps us heal the wounds, reparent ourselves, and allows us to tap into that divine child that exists within all of us.
Hello, welcome to Women Awakening. I'm your host, Cynthia James, and I cannot tell you how excited I am to create a space where fabulous, extraordinary women come from around the globe to step forward and to share their wisdom, their power, their courage, their dedication to uplifting the well-being of women everywhere. You know, I work with leaders and teams, and I train coaches in my emotional integration techniques, and I support individuals who are ready to up-level and thrive. And women are a passion for me. And at the end of the show, I'll share a little bit more about how we can connect. I want you to know that I believe, with all my heart actually, that we're living in a time of profound emergence where women's voices, their visions, their leadership is rising in powerful ways. And I'm deeply grateful to be a place, a conduit, where I get to introduce you to these remarkable change makers and their stories of transformation and resilience and impact. You can find Women Awakening on every platform and on YouTube, Women Awakening with Cynthia James. And I want you to know, please share these interviews, subscribe, and leave a review. Your reviews really make a difference in helping us reach more women around the world. You can get in touch with me through cynthiajames.net. I have a newsletter, a vibrant private community, and many offerings to support you to live your best life, your biggest life. So I can't wait to introduce you to my guest. Her name is Lisa Campion. And I'm just going to read to you what's on her bio because it's so cool. It says, Lisa Campion is not your grandma's psychic. She's the mentor you wish you'd met when you started doubting your own gifts. Since childhood, Lisa's been seeing energy, colors, and the kinds of spirits most people only talk about on Halloween. Except for her, it happened on a Tuesday. So these days, she's the go-to resource for every emerging psychic, empath, and I feel too much healer. I just want you to know, anybody who is secretly suspecting that the world needs them, she knows it and she can prove it. She's the founder of Quantum Lightwave Healing and author of 4 books, including the best-selling The Art of Psychic Reiki. And Lisa is equal parts quantum science geek and kitchen table mystic. Oh, Lisa, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks, Cynthia. It's always so much fun to be in the same space with you.
Well, everybody, we met at a conference in Santa Fe. I just want you to know, anybody who's ever doubted the magic of mystical people, you would have said, okay, now I know. Now I believe it's true. So, Lisa, I want to know how you grew up. You know, were you actually seeing and feeling these things as a child? What was happening with you?
Yeah, I was. I was born in the 60s, and I grew up just outside of Boston in a very haunted house, like big old Mama Victorian house. This house could have absolutely auditioned for the haunted house in every haunted house movie. But I just was born that way and able to see spirits, see colors around people, see energy, know things, feel things. I was kind of getting on all the channels, and it was a really weird time to be a psychic because it wasn't something I could talk about. There was no language for that. There was like, maybe we're going to put you in the mental hospital if you see angels and talk to dead Uncle Fred. And fortunately for me, my parents were hippies, so they didn't really drag me to the church and throw holy water on me, but they did, they didn't really know what was happening. And I was told it was my imagination. I'm like, I'm pretty sure it's not. So I spent a lot of my young life trying to figure out what was going on and just trying to pretend to be normal in public. And then I actually started working as a psychic when I was 19. That was the 80s, was the dawn of the new age. And then I finally, got some really good psychic training and teachers. And that's when I started working as a psychic. And I've done it ever since. I learned quickly that I didn't have enough skills to actually help people because, I was 19. So when I finished university, I went back to school and became a therapist. And then in 1999, I added Reiki and energy medicine to the mix. And these days, I really love teaching and mentoring. I always say my mission in life is to create an army of healers to go out there and save the planet. So I love working with people whose psychic gifts are emerging, or maybe they're going through a psychic opening. They're feeling the calling to be a healer. I really like working with those folks.
Well, that's beautiful. And I just want to say for anybody's listening, for those of you who felt energy, saw things, experienced everything, you were never crazy. You just needed someone to co-sign the truth of what you already knew. I want to talk to you about, I want to get to what we did at Santa Fe, but I really want to, you wrote The Art of Psychic Reiki. First of all, for those who don't know what is Reiki, tell them that, and then let's move into what psychic Reiki is.
Sure. Yeah, Reiki is a beautiful and gentle hands-on energy healing technique from Japan. Kind of think of it like acupuncture without needles, So the practitioners are trained to move energy through the person. And when I learned it in, 27 years ago, it was pretty fringy. But now it's in 800 hospitals across the world, across the United States, more across the world. And, it's been studied to relieve pain. It's used in pain clinics for non-narcotic pain relief. Pre and post-surgical. It's been very accepted by the mainstream as a way to bring us into a natural healing state. So that's what Reiki is. Lots of people, I think it's so accessible, like really anyone can learn it. So if you're thinking that maybe you want to be a healer, Reiki is a great place to start. And psychic Reiki, what is sort of my version of it, because I was teaching psychic development classes and I was teaching Reiki, and then I just started teaching them together. And I think that Reiki is one of the things, like I always say, there's 3 gateways into the larger spiritual realm: meditation, yoga, and Reiki. And a lot of times people will do those things and find that their psychic ability, their intuition really pops open. And so my book is a combination of adding psychic development to Reiki training.
Mm-hmm. So my mother was in hospice the last years of her life, the last months. And they had these amazing hospice people come. Some did music, but the ones that really blew my mind were the Reiki masters who came to support her as she was leaving the planet. It was one of the most, I felt so privileged to be present and to see the level of care and love that was coming through these people. So I couldn't agree with you more about the power of it. And so when people are interested in Reiki, how do they know they've got the right Reiki master for them?
I think it's sort of a matter of chemistry or resonance, really. There's a lot of great teachers out there. Finding one that you resonate with is the more important. And there's like a million different styles of Reiki, right? It's kind of like yoga. Like there's so many different kinds of yoga. I don't think the kind of yoga matters more than the teacher. Like you go to the yoga class because you like the teacher, doesn't matter what style of yoga it is, really. And I think Reiki is like that. So find somebody you connect with, you resonate with. I think, but somebody who's been doing it for a while is important. So make sure they have some experience, they have a good local reputation, and trust your gut on that.
Yeah. So you have children, yes?
Yes.
So how was it, do you think, for them growing up with a mom like you?
Oh, what does it say? Having a weird mom builds character. I think I mean, I just was very open to their spiritual, with three children. There are two boys and a girl. They're all adults now. And I just think I created a space that was very open for them to explore their own spirituality, their healing techniques. They all got Reiki when they were little, when they were really little, and they'd fall down. I'd ask them if they want Reiki or a Band-Aid, and they'd always pick Reiki, which I thought was cool. And now they're I think they're all intuitive. They're very different the way they run their intuition, but they all do it. None of them do it professionally like I do, but I think they trust their intuitive sense in a way that maybe other people don't.
I just think that that's so beautiful. I mean, because when I was growing up, people who had those kinds of gifts tried to hide them or keep them, under the radar. And so to actually have a mother or a parent who is wanting to nurture that exploration is like really, really powerful. Well, I want to talk about this new thing that you're doing. I know you're writing a book.
Yes, I'm writing. My book is about inner child work, and it's called Sacred Reparenting. I'm on chapter 9, so I'm getting there.
Well, talk to me about that.
Well, I think I always say the answer is your inner child. And for all the internal work that I've done, when I went to therapy school, they recommend that I work with a therapist from their school, which was amazing. And of all the work that I've done, it always seems to come back to the inner child, that for me anyway, that sort of those parts of us that maybe are holding on to our childhood wounds. I mean, the inner child really has two sides. And one of them carries the unprocessed wounds of our childhood. But the other part of it carries like our true divine nature. It's like the divine child, that carries the spark of our pure essence, our most essential self. And I always say, if you ever want to have any fun, you got to do some inner child work, because it's the part of us that knows how to play. That play, creativity, intuition, sort of like, if you look at any child, any small child, you see that sort of radiating joy that comes out of them. We have that too inside of us. And so doing inner child work helps us heal the wounds, reparent ourselves, and allows us to tap into that divine child that exists within all of us.
Yeah, it's so interesting, Lisa. I mean, of course, I didn't know that when I was a kid, but because I had gone through such a traumatic childhood, there were two parts of me. There was Cynthia, who hid and kept herself under the radar so she didn't get hurt. But then there was Cindy, and she was the creative, and she was the one that would be on the debate team and do all of this stuff at school. And now, because I've done inner child work too, it's like Cindy was the one who was like, don't give up, don't run away, bring your joy, bring your light. So if you can tap into those places,
yeah,
then of course it becomes an opening for healing those old wounds.
Absolutely. I think we all know what's sort of like where places where we feel broken or the parts that are unhealed, but sometimes we forget about the part of us. It's amazing. That's, never been wounded, no matter what's happened to us. That holds the core essence of who we are. And for me, inner child work has helped me tap into, like, sort of calm down my nervous system, learn how to regulate my emotions. And so I can have fun and play more. My wounded inner child is very serious and a bit of a workaholic, right? So I'm just going to buckle down and just get some stuff done. And that's just fine. But, there's a whole other aspect of life that's more about play and joy and pleasure and spontaneity and intuition. And it's allowed me to remember and to tap and to live more from that side. Thank God. Otherwise, I really would just work all the time.
Okay, listen, everybody. This is why I tell you to subscribe, because the nuggets that come out like this is just so powerful. So I'm in a room with you in Santa Fe with all these other people. And you did this process with us that was very deep and very powerful. What do you call it?
The quantum healing, is that the one you mean? Yeah. Yeah, that's so I've been a Reiki practitioner, Reiki master for so many years now. About 5 years ago, I just noticed that I've done over 15,000 sessions, which I only know because my publisher made me count. Um, somewhere along that line. I've noticed that the Reiki that I was doing didn't really feel like Reiki anymore. It was more of this channeling energy. I felt like I was channeling energy from these very high level beings, and that the energy coming through me was light in some way. So I've been experimenting with that and refining it over the past 5 years. I call it quantum lightwave healing. And we did a group healing together, and that was so beautiful. And it just connects us with this super high frequency energy that is very quick at, um, healing us at a very deep place. And I do these beautiful monthly group healings every month live on Zoom. And I have an archive of them. My admin told me, she's like, you've done 64 of those healings now. And I was like, whoa, that you can buy on my website if you want to check it out and try it for yourself. But that's sort of my new interest is in, higher levels of consciousness, 5-dimensional consciousness, quantum consciousness, and the healing that goes with that is super interesting to me.
Yeah, well, listen, everybody. I mean, the quantum physicists have talked a lot about the quantum field, and that it's the field of infinite possibility and potentiality. So to be able to tap into that and use it for your own consciousness raising and your own energy and your own expansion is so powerful. And to have a guide like Lisa that can help you do it in a safe and powerful experience. So your clients that come and have had this experience with you, which I have, what do they say to you about the experience for them?
When they say they go into like a very deep state of healing, it's really the theta brainwave we go into. Often they'll tell me that they've, been working on an issue in therapy for a long time, and they do one or two of these sessions, and that seems to clear away whatever it was they were working, especially really the really old stuff, inner child stuff, past life stuff, lineage stuff. Quantum healing works very quickly at clearing away. Sometimes those deep things we can't quite get a handle on shifting. The quantum healing tends to shift it. And I think it brings us into a higher state of consciousness. That's what it's designed to do. And yeah, I think it can be intense, but really opens us to feeling more joy. So we know we're there in that state of consciousness when we tap into and sort of live from that high joy vibration and a really calm, settled nervous system.
Yeah. So are most of the people that come to you people who are already on a spiritual path, or people who've been referred to you because they've tried everything else and they know they need something different?
I think it's both. I often work with people who are undergoing sudden psychic openings or spiritual awakenings that can be, and when they happen quickly, they can be unsettling, So I work with mentor people who are shifting spiritually and psychically quickly, or who want to become professional psychic healers. I love working with those folks. And also people who maybe are going through a crisis, are at a change or choice point in their life. Sometimes people who feel stuck. The quantum healing is great. If you're feeling stuck and you don't really know how to start moving your energy, quantum healing can work really, really well with that. So, I mean, I'm happy to work with anybody.
Yeah. Well, okay. So you got the part of you that was wounded and loves to work and be busy and move forward. And then you got, playful, childlike, expansive Lisa. Are you aware when there's a need for playful Lisa to come in and shift the energy?
Yeah, I think so. It's usually Friday night. So I belong to a dance community and a dance group. And so I love to dance. And for me, dancing is, it's all about connecting and moving and playful, like embodied expression. I was a martial artist for a long time too, which was also really fun for me. So I find like physical movement to be very joyful and playful. And I just know I get there because I start getting cranky or tired or, burned out, kind of crispy feeling. And then I know it's time to put the work down and go play.
Yeah. Well, listen, I love to dance. It's part of my workshops and everything else. And I got to tell you, movement is medicine for me. So
Yes.
I totally get how your little Lisa would say, "Come on now, we got to dance."
Yes. Yes.
So how do people find you?
The website's really good. LisaCampion.com is a great place, and I have a lot of free resources there. You can come and check it out. Of course, all the socials will do. I have a pretty fun YouTube channel that has a lot of free resources on it. And I have my own podcast called The Miracle of Healing, which you've been on. And you can find that in any podcast outlet. But come to my website, LisaCampion.com, and leave me a comment. And I'd love to just correspond with anyone who drops me a message there.
Well, that's beautiful. And for anybody who needs it, it's Campion, in case you weren't clear how to spell. Mm-hmm. So I ask the same last question of every guest. This show is called Woman Awakening. Why do you think it's important in this moment for the awakening of the feminine of women?
I feel like we need to come into sort of that balance between divine feminine, divine masculine too. And and maybe women need to awaken to their power, men need to awaken to their softer side, which is also the feminine, to bring us into balance. We can kind of get out of the violence and aggression and, sort of toxicity of the toxic side of the patriarchy that's, has taken over our cultures for so many thousands of years. And I do think this time, they say the age of the Aquarius is the age of unity, as we move out of the age of Pisces and that sort of polarization between masculine and feminine, that we are coming into a unified field of consciousness, unified, with divine consciousness. In order to do that, we have to bring up the feminine and let the female voice speak a little more and be heard a little more.
Yeah, I couldn't have said it better.
Yeah.
Lisa, I'm so glad you said yes to your calling. I'm so glad that you are in such high service to the healers on this planet, because they're necessary. And I'm very grateful that you came on the show. I have such high regard for you.
Thank you. Thank you for saying that, Cynthia. It's not an easy path to walk. So thank you for recognizing and acknowledging that in it. And I'm so happy to be here with you too.
Thank you. Okay, ladies, let me just say this. There has never been an interview that didn't inspire me, because the women that come on are open, available, and this show is designed to touch you, to encourage you, and remind you of the incredible power that lives within every single one of us. So these interviews are here to support you in awakening, your energy, your gifts, your voice, your vision. And I just want you to know that I've received emails and some people want to go deeper, and I have emotional integration. That's my technique in the world. And I work with leaders and people, individuals. And so if you need support, go to cynthiajames.net, see all of my programs, sign up for my newsletter and my private community. Please subscribe and review the show. It's really important to us. You look for Women Awakening with Cynthia James and share it with people. I guess the last thing I want to say to you is I'm so grateful for you. I'm so grateful for your energy. I'm so grateful that you're here. And so I just want to encourage you to rise, to shine your light, to awaken to the fullness of who you are. I'm honored to walk this path with you. I love you, and I'll see you soon. Many blessings.